Former President Donald Trump made a series of social media posts over the weekend going after D.C. federal judge Tanya Chutkan, who was randomly selected to oversee the January 6 criminal case. Has he crossed the line from free speech to a bigger problem? Let's ask our chief legal correspondent, Katie Barlow. Katie?
Well, experts say it's strategically stupid to go after the judge overseeing your federal criminal case, but former President Trump enjoys broad free speech rights just like every American, and especially as he is a political candidate for office. Sunday night, Trump copied someone else's tweet to his Truth Social, claiming that Chutkan openly admitted she's running election interference against Trump. The post includes a picture of Chutkan and refers to her husband, a former Superior Court judge in D.C.
Criticizing a judge when you're under indictment and facing trial is really stupid. I mean, there's nothing good is going to come of it.
On Friday, Chutkan warned Trump's lawyers against making inflammatory statements about the case that could influence D.C. residents who could eventually sit on the jury. Gag orders have been issued in other cases to prevent both sides from talking about the case publicly so they don't bias potential jurors.
To me, it's a little far-fetched that in this case, some comment by Trump is really going to affect the jury pool. Now, I think there's a more serious argument about violence. There is a cadre of super Trump supporters, obviously not the great majority of them, but there's a tiny sliver that seems to be prone to violence.
Former Trump campaign advisor Roger Stone had a gag order placed on him as he was facing criminal charges for obstructing a congressional investigation and witness tampering. Stone was convicted and Trump later commuted his sentence, but during his case, Stone reposted a photo on Instagram of D.C. federal judge Amy Berman Jackson and crosshairs. Judge Jackson barred Stone from using social media.
Roger's case was different because Roger posted something, or something was posted on behalf of Roger that looked like a direct threat to the judge. So that's a whole different kind of situation. And I thought Roger was going to go to jail over that.
Trump's post may also be part of a strategy to get the judge to do or say something that would require her to recuse herself from the case. That's a high bar, one unlikely cleared right now.
First of all, federal judges are terrific. They're almost universally impartial, and they can put stuff like this personal criticism out of their minds. So he may be relying on the fact that she will do her duty.
Other than alleging that she's a Democrat, which, is not a disqualifier to sit, in a criminal case, there's really nothing there to suggest that she's biased. In fact, the one substantive hearing they had of the protective order, she seemed to be, inclined to rule more in favor of the defense than the government.
No word from special counsel Jack Smith's office about the weekend postings. We do know from their previous filings they keep a pretty close eye on former President Trump's social media posts. The next hearing scheduled before Judge Chutkan in that building behind me is set for August 28th.